Hey guys, in this video I'll be discussing my experience in Molten Core as a fire mage. Now that Blackwing layer is right around the corner, I thought to myself this would be a great time to try out a fire spec in a fire resist raid. I was actually quite extremely surprised with the results. I honestly expected myself to be at the bottom of the DPS charts when it was all over, but I was actually among the top. Please know that I'm using a few consumables and have a few world buffs. But what I managed to pull off is still quite impressive. This is the talent build I used for the raid. Please notice that I have all the frost damage talents for fire immune bosses like Baron and Ragnaros. These are the gears I had for the raid. All the greens you see are plus frost damage items I equipped when fighting the fire immune bosses. After all my world buffs and consumables, I ended up with 594 spell power, 2% hit and 37% crit. Look at all these spells I got to use as a fire mage. So much fun compared to whatever this is. My overall damage as fire is also very similar to my overall damage as frost. Please note that I was equally buffed as a frost mage when I did that raid. Okay, now let's get right into the boss fights. So for the first boss, I didn't really do too well. I started up with some strong AoE damage, but then I just got confused with my rotation because I'm not used to playing fire. But I still ended up with a decent 438 DPS. The fight with Magmador was much better. I managed to pull off a 3.2k Pyroblast crit, which set off a huge ignite followed by some fireball crits, which even furthered the ignite damage. A Pyroblast crit with power infusion, combustion and world buffs just feels incredible. I ended up doing way better than I expected with a 558 DPS, which is more than my average frost damage on this boss. Gehenna's was another disappointing fight. You see, what I wanted to do was target the boss and burn him down, but they put Skull on the ads and they just die so fast. I was so confused, I didn't even know what to do. And by the time we switched to the boss, it was already too late for me, putting me at a 338 DPS. The Gar fight was just amazing. Most mages parse this boss by just spamming Arcane Explosion on the ads. And I got a single target DPS of 740, which is really difficult to do as a frost mage, because you have to really be lucky with a lot of crits. If there were a few more fire mages pushing the ignite, the DPS might have gone over 1000. At the end of the fight I just spammed Scorch because I didn't want to risk a fireball resist. For Baron I only used frost bolts. This is why I call it a Frostfire build, because you do a lot of damage as frost and also a lot of damage as fire. In this fight I placed number 1 in DPS using Frostbolt in a fire spec. Sulfuron Harbinger was also a great fight. That initial burst you get when you cast Blast Wave, Sapper Charge, Cone of Cone, Arcane Explosion with Power Infusion combined is just incredible. Not to forget all those followed by some huge Combustion Fireball crits. All these together pushed my DPS through the roof with a personal record-breaking DPS of 850. For Go Mage, I should have probably gone Frost, because the fire resistance of this boss is ridiculously high. Almost all my spells were getting resisted, and the ones that didn't get resisted did 50% or less damage. I was getting 1k fireball crits, when on the other bosses I was getting somewhere around 3.2k. But I still somehow managed to get 480 DPS, so I'm not that mad. For Ragnaros, yes, you've guessed it, I played as a frost mage. Not much to talk about here. I still achieved the 3rd spot in DPS as a fire mage using Frostbolt. Although I do get higher DPS on Ragnaros as an arcane frost mage, maybe 50 to 100 more DPS, but playing as a Frostfire mage gives you a more exciting experience because you don't have to press one button all the time. If any one of you have best in slot gear and have experience with Fire Mage, you can very easily beat my records. But do take permission from your guild before you do so, because you will be eating up 2 extra debuff slots, which may be bad for your other fellow raiders. I left 2 boss fights out of this video because they weren't interesting. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I got more videos coming up, but they're kind of related to goal making, so see you soon.